Hi everyone, I'm here to tell you of my story, of how my struggles have spurred me on to find new ways of doing things, how I came to understand that unless we combine our body, mind, emotions, and spirit into one cooperative whole inside of us, we're not going to be living our lives as fully and happily as is possible. My name is Ann Neymark. I was a shy kid and really scared of expressing myself. I remember one day in second grade we were supposed to finger paint. The teacher gave us white paper and several colors of paints. I didn't know what to do and sat staring at the paper. I remember being so afraid of doing it wrong that I couldn't even move. Time passed and the session was about over. Then the teacher came over and she looked at my blank paper. She said, "Just do something," in an irritated voice. She made some swirls with the side of her hand with the finger paints. And I just remember feeling so ashamed. My shyness and the fear of being shamed stayed with me for years and created other uncomfortable situations in my life. I've always had a good mind. School was pretty easy for me until honors physics in high school. So in that class I'm the only girl and a bunch of smart guys. I don't even understand how things work. The guys seem to get it, even though the teacher doesn't want to teach. She's an ex-Army sergeant, and all he wants to do is talk about Army. We do, like, physics experiments, and I have no clue what's going on. Because I'm shy, I don't raise my hand and ask for help. I got a C- in that class. I've always been an active person. I love to move and feel my muscles. I climbed trees and did sports when I was growing up. I love to dance and to feel the music and let my body move its own way to the melody and the beat. And I've been pretty healthy all my life. No meds, just vitamins, herbs, eating well. But then menopause shows up. Now I've got all those classic symptoms. I don't sleep well, my energy level drops, I gain weight, I've got those hot flashes, my skin gets dry, and I get cranky. So because I just can't even live like this, I go on a search and I read all the latest on what to do. Read the doctors, the herbalists, all those guys who know. I get an acupuncture treatment and my hot flashes almost go away. All right. I do what I can to do with exercise and the herbs and the supplements and the food to try to deal with everything. But it's not really working. My sleep is kind of like the worst part of it all. And eventually I found somebody to work with me with the bioidentical hormones. So it took us about a year. We worked with the doses and finally we got it. My sleep got much better. And then that was it. So I feel like unless my body is good, feels good, every part of me doesn't feel good and I don't work well. Spirituality wasn't part of my growing up. My parents are atheists, so we were raised in a home that said God doesn't exist. But then when I was 15, I started wondering if what my parents were telling me was the whole story. Later on, I spent a bunch of years reading spiritual books and taking classes, going on retreats to see what actually spoke to me. One example is like at 22, I took a Hatha yoga class, which was actually for me the beginning of this search into spirituality. And I totally got into the deep relaxation and the meditation of it. I was figuring out that the way for me to know about reality and spirituality was to go inside. A few years later, I was living in Cambridge, Massachusetts. For a whole year, I had a feeling to go to Northern California. So in 1975, I did move to San Francisco. I had no real reason to go other than this feeling. I followed it. And it opened up a whole new world of spiritual experiences that I otherwise would not have found. Next few years in the Bay Area and other parts of California, I explored these different spiritual experiences with Hinduism and Buddhism and Native American spirituality. I really liked them all. I liked the feelings of peace and joy that I felt from every single one of them. Doing all this, I was finding my way in my own spirituality. I was following my inner self. Another example, one day in San Francisco, on my lunch break, I walked uphill on California Street. I saw a beautiful old white Catholic church, Old St. Mary's. I really wanted to know what was there, so I stepped inside. I opened the front door, and I was hit with a wave of really powerful, beautiful energy that almost knocked me over. I went inside and sat down. The paintings were gorgeous, and I felt really held in this warm, embracing energy. Every day after that, during lunch, I would walk up that hill and sit in that church. Sometimes I was so moved in this experience that tears were running down my cheeks. This began my time with the Catholics. At one point in this whole scene, I thought about being a nun. The sisters I connected to had like a new routine for them. You stay with them for 3 months before you decide you want to join. But first, I have to get a psych exam so they know I'm not nuts. I went through 2 days of multiple choice questions at a psychologist's office. Then he figures out my results, and I went to see him to get the news. He tells me I'm good, but then he makes a prediction. He goes, I will go out to try the nuns for a while, but I'm not going to stay. He says, I'm too independent and I don't really think like they do. So I do. I join the sisters for a few months and I live with them. They're very sweet, but I get really lonely. Nobody talks to each other. I thought I was going to learn all about what makes them tick and what makes them happy and how their life is for them. One sister tells me that I'll get used to it, but I realize that this is never going to happen because I learned that for me, the deep relationship with other people is one of the driving forces in my life. I can't live without it. This segues into telling you more about the work that I've done. My work has always been about helping others. I was a masseuse, then I became a nurse, and after a while, for me, that got a bit boring. So one week, 3 independent people told me that I would make a good counselor. And that same week, I read an ad for an orientation to a master's program, and I went to it. I signed up for it and eventually became a psychotherapist, which I've been doing for 25 years. Again, following my inner sense, the outer exploring the outer and listening to what the guidance is that's coming to me, I found a career that has taken me deep inside myself, and I'm able to help my clients deeply in their inner self. I also get that if I hadn't been so shy, I might not have been motivated to do this research and discover who I am more in this kind of a venue. I did my own therapy for a long time, and it helped me find the career that I have right now. I realize also that I've been invited my whole life into this big adventure called God, and it has been the best journey of my life. It has led me to do really important things that I've done. It's never let me down by following my inner sense. I know I am that. I am who I am because of that. So I realize that I've had to embrace all of me. I've had to include my body, mind, spirit, and emotions to help all parts of me function well and function together. Because if I'm not working with myself, I'm in parts, I'm in pieces, and something's not working right. So this is the gift I bring to you. Through exploring who you are, what your strengths and struggles are, what your spirituality is, and then beginning to integrate all the parts of you, there is a way to live your life freer, happier, and with more ease and grace. Now I want you to think of people in your life that could benefit from this message and invite them to watch this video so my message can spread and impact more people. If my story and what I'm about has inspired you, please comment below and tell me a little bit about yourself. Or if you would rather, you can vote for me in the space below. Thanks so much for watching.